All right, let's talk about this this thing. The colonial imperial West had went around the world saying, "You're all barbarians. You're all savages. You need to be civilized." And right up to today, they keep doing this. You have Joseph Borrell, who is the EU, one of the top people in the EU, political people in the EU. Uh, he said, I quote, we live in the garden, and everywhere else is the jungle. And you know, this is a centuries long rhetoric. This deranged ideology, and you know, if you understand colonialism and if you understand neo-colonialism of today, which is really not accurate because colonialism never really stopped. It just took on new forms. Uh, you know, uh, the facts are that the true savage barbarians are are the West. The United States took over the empire of Great Britain. Great Britain was one of the most uh, uh, savage barbarians, and then the United States took over, and they one up the savagery. Uh, you know, and the fact that Joseph Borrell, voiced it publicly. Well, it wasn't supposed. I guess, quote unquote, it wasn't supposed to be public. But if you put it on if you say it on video, and you don't expect it to be disseminated, then then you're not right in the head. Uh, you know, the there was JCPOA. The nuclear deal with Iran. The savages said, "Oh, for decades, Iran wants nuclear weapons. Iran wants nuclear weapons." Except Iran has been saying for decades, "We don't want nuclear weapons. It's against it's against their religious thinking, their morals. It's against their philosophy." And they articulate it in a way by saying, what basically what they're saying is, what's the use of having a weapon that's going to destroy that can destroy everything? End it all. Uh, so, uh, and this brings me uh, to this newest savagery. Uh, the grain deal with Russia uh, in Ukraine. Now, they keep harping on Russia backing out, but they don't tell you that Russia only agreed to that grain deal because uh, Russia said you need to lift the sanctions and you need to allow us, along with Ukraine, to ship grains, and we want we want the majority to go to Africa and Latin America. What happened? So this was a deal that the Europeans and Ukraine had agreed to, and what happened? 40% of the grains went to the EU, Western Europe. 40%. Less than 3% got to Africa. Even more important, the deal that they said they based the grain deal on, of allowing Russia to ship and to either temporarily freeze or lift the sanctions on grain, as well as the fertilizers, the chemical fertilizers. That wasn't upheld, just like the JCPOA with Iran. Sanctions were supposed to be lifted and go towards more normalization. That didn't happen. The United States did not lift the sanctions. As a matter of fact, Trump broke the deal and then escalated the sanctions. Okay, this has been a thing where they keep saying and making these agreements, and then they break them immediately. The end of East and West Berlin. The agreement that the Soviet Union would pull out of East Germany and allow Germany to be reunited, and the agreement was NATO would not move 1 inch past the border of East Germany. Broken. This was an agreement that they made. It was broken almost immediately. The One China principle, which the U.S. calls One China policy, but if you listen to what happened, the announcements made during the Nixon and even Carter later on, they call it the One China principle. Okay? Not the One China policy. And in those three communiques and the normalization with China, they were supposed to stop sending weapons, pull out the troops out of Taiwan, U.S. troops out of Taiwan, pull out the weapons, and they were supposed to, cut back on weapons deliveries to Taiwan, and eventually stop weapons deliveries. Well, that was broken. As a matter of fact, in the U.S. Congress, they made the One China policy. That's a thing that you can look up. So they broke that agreement, that deal, and have been provoking and breaking the deal ever since. So understand that this happens constantly, and your so-called media leaves these things out. It's not like they couldn't find the information. They do. They can find the information. They omit. Oh, they omit, and they spin what they tell you to say, oh, Russia's the one starving the world. Russia's the one starving the Africans. You know, in the recent Russia and Africa summit meeting in St. Petersburg, Putin said he was going to give 250,000 thousand tons of grain to I think it was like 5 or 7 countries in Africa, and not only that, but he was going to ship it for free. That's a pledge he made. So if you've been following anything that's happening with Africa and Russia relations, you understand that Russia is big in Africa, and this is the boots on the ground, the people. So, and Russia has, and if you look into the history, Russia hasn't. When Russia makes, even from the Soviet times, when they make an agreement with somebody, they're not devious, lying, barbaric savages, and think of some devious, malicious, nefarious way to do things, and then lie about it. So who does this? It's the imperial West who does this constantly. They're the ones always going around lecturing with their deranged ideology. You have to do it this way. You have to do it this way. You have to do as we say. You know, the IMF and World Bank, which is located, the World Bank, which is located in Washington. I think IMF as well. You know, they give out these loans, right? But they tell you, oh, you have to give over control of infrastructure, education, commodities, minerals, water resources, your education, your all this, and put it into private hands, right? These are the things, you know. And meanwhile, China gives out loans, and when the countries that they make a loan to say we have economic difficulties and we can't pay it, they don't unlike the World Bank and IMF, they don't say to these countries, well, you know, these are the penalties you're gonna have to pay, you know. So we're gonna take your mines, we're gonna take your fishing rights, we're gonna take your water rights. No, China has forgiven or redone the terms of the loan, and they start out with low interest loans in the first place, significantly low interest. And these are things that you can look up, and these are objective facts, facts on the ground. So, you know, this is an element. They constantly say, "Oh, China's creating debt traps. China's creating debt traps," like in Sri Lanka. You know, the Chinese do have loans that they made to Sri Lanka, but the vast majority of it is from of all these debt loans. These debt traps are from private Western things, private Western firms like, and I use firms contemptuously because it's BlackRock, it's J.P. Morgan, and all these other fucking all these other fucking uh, uh, criminal criminal organizations who have this legitimacy, and I see it as a legitimacy problem because they're not legitimate. So and then also from like the IMF, which Sri Lanka keeps taking. Why? Because the people that are in power were helped be put in power by the imperial West, you know, through their international propaganda media, shaping the shaping and spinning the narratives, funding the funding that goes into the. This is how it works. This is how the savagery and barbarism works. So, as I said, you have to understand how the pie or the cookie is made, and the only way you do that is to do research into it, and to break away from ideology that's not based in reality. Be open-minded. Uh, Understand on a personal level that, you know, we can all naturally say it's pretty much universal. You don't like being taken advantage of. You don't want to be attacked out of nowhere for no reason. You don't, you know, you expect respect, and you give respect to get respect. And when you know, these are all natural, universal things. And so, if you take it from that point, and you look into it, and then you're like, wow, these people are fucking viciously evil. They are the true barbarians, the savages. And for us to participate by giving over our labor, joining the so-called militaries, and intelligence apparatus, or the media, or in academics to or you know, be a social leader to push the savagery and barbarism. That's, you know, that comes down to base moral base morality that that we should understand that we should be against it. That we should not only be against it, but we should be forcefully militant about it. And that's what we don't do. And you know, it's just wrong. It is just wrong, wrong, wrong. Because it can be turned and used against you, and historically, it has happened. You think, for those of you who say, "I'm a law-abiding, citizen," right? For instance, oh God, I can't think of the guy's name, but he was man's name. He was a Air Force, U.S. Air Force pilot, uh, uh, and he was a veteran who had moved to Australia. He was offered a job by a private Chinese company to train test pilots, civilian test pilots. And him and some other Westerners were offered it, but he was the one, he was targeted. He was targeted. He's now in jail, in solitary confinement, and the U.S. is demanding extradition of this veteran, military veteran, right? So the again, the media put it out, villainize this guy and so on and so forth. Did all these savage, barbaric lies and spins, right? I'm not a fan of the. I'm no fan of the U.S. military. I'm not. I'm not. And I think it's. I think it's. You. I think if you join the military, you are betraying the country. And when I say the country, I'm not talking about Washington. I'm not talking about the state so-called governments. I'm talking about America, as in the people. Okay, you can't have a country if you don't have the people, and the people make the country. So when you join the military, which is run by these savage barbarians who go around raping, murdering, pillaging, plundering. Oh, that reminds me of Pompeo. When he was in the CIA in the video and saying, they taught us to lie, cheat, and steal. Well, it was more than that. It was lie, cheat, steal, kill, murder, rape, pillage, plunder. So, the rest was my input. But you know, you're actually betraying yourselves and betraying your country. Uh, you know, Going into politics, you might as well be betraying the country as well, because the because these criminals who are taking from the highest bidder to betray and serve their own interests. They've basically got it locked down. And when you have a law enforcement, the security complex, a media complex, uh, who will go after you, like they did to the American veteran for taking a job that he not only declared on his taxes and had the money put into an account under his name. Okay. By the way, if you're interested in finding out what the name of this American Air Force veteran is, the Australian Citizens Party did a video which was posted recently about this case. So, and they've talked about it before. So, understand, he was a law-abiding citizen. Okay? Yet they went after him, and he's not a minority. Okay? He's a white man. So they went after him, and that is not a case, a single case. This happens a lot. Daniel Hale, okay, who's in jail now. Julian Assange. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay? So, understand this. Wise up. Awaken your cognitive reasoning. Because that's the only way to be informed. That's the only way to understand. But you need to take an active part. And remember that politics is life. Because what politics does affects you in the real world, affects you personally. So, all right, I'll end it there.